Not saying we're doing it, just saying, let's put it into the mix, because it's not in there currently.
Well, the only mix that it's in is, it's in our plan. And the splash pads were one of the priorities. All of us were supposed to consult with our constituencies and come back with that list of things that the folks wanted. We've never had that discussion. We've never had got that far in our strategic planning to say, okay, here are the priorities. But certainly splash pads, and I mean, in an ideal world, I'd like to see splash pads in the 10-year forecast for all the communities, and that's what this plan is saying. And you're right, John. I mean, we now have an opportunity that's presented here, and I don't know what the details are. I'd like to hear from Doug just a little bit more of the details of the support for the splash pad. If that's okay.
We'll go through one by one.
I think we need to prioritize
Yes.
one by
Let's
one.
start with the first one.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to start, but that's around this other way. And that's fine. We'll do it a new way.
No, just to say, let's start with our corner then. Let's work our way down. Speedo's optional in the slide.
Deputy Mayor Day.
Yes, I'd just like to know a few more details about this, and maybe Doug has the information about what it will cost on an ongoing basis. I think we've had this discussion before about how we have community groups that establish new things, trails and parks and things, and then we have to pay for the maintenance of them, and sometimes they get pretty expensive to maintain. And my question is that we end up making a decision before between maintaining a splash pad and actually replacing, the tops of the tennis courts, or filling a pothole, or doing something like that. So we have to understand how much that's going to cost us on an annual basis, and are we in a position to be able to handle this ongoing cost? I really like when people initiate programs and new ideas, but they also put the capital money up front to be able to maintain it long term. And I just didn't know if there's any kind of assurance that the Canadian Ground Foundation will be supporting this on an ongoing basis, or just trying to.
It's a coin operator one, isn't it? 3 Junies in for 15 minutes.
No, there's no guarantee that they're going to put any more money into it. They want to put probably half. We're looking at around about $100,000 for the splash pad cost. They guaranteed half of that minimum, and we know there's other partners in the community who would pick up the balance or the majority of it. The Lions would be agreeable to taking the Trillium grant for whatever they can get out of the project. So, Janet, let's put that paperwork in process. We can start then. So there's other groups, there's community foundations, there's other partners in the area. So what the actual cost to the community will be for an ongoing basis, I haven't got no idea what the cost may be. But the fact that it's going to go in with minimum capital cost should be a benefit down the road for operating costs.
See, I guess the thing for me, we live in the oldies area up in the north end, so our splash pad is not for us. But when you look at where young people are,
Why isn't it for us?
I need more than 15 minutes to get a shower. Oh, that was sorry, the splash pad. I'm thinking of the bath. But when you look at Forest and you look at Arcona, there are young families. But not so much Port Franks, not so much, I guess Thetford had young families too.
Yes.
Hopefully this will be their new youth center. So, I guess to me those are priorities. If you're going to do economic development and if you're going to attract families, you can't keep going on the prune dollars. I mean, that's the bottom line. You're looking at temporary residence in 10 years. You come in and you're off to the nursing home. So you're looking at 3 areas that need to attract families, and all of these activities I think are going to be necessary in order for a family to say, yeah, there's stuff for the kids to do.
That's why we built the arenas.
Yeah, not just to attract the families. I mean, they're here now, and if you look at the census data, I mean, those graphs are very telling. The graphs in Grand Bend, I mean, we know exactly what they look like, and the big bulge, of course, is that
The Metamucil bulge.
Exactly, yeah. And then certainly with our other communities, with Arcona and Forest and Thetford, and I should have brought along the graph just to show you, because it's really interesting when you look at it and you look at the curve and you see the number of young families in these other communities as opposed to in the North End. So that's why these things are so important for our smaller communities. I agree totally. Yes, it's economic development, it's everything, it's quality of life, it's all of those things, but when we've got an opportunity here. The other thing I might or would ask staff is the operating cost for these kind of water features is pretty minimal from what I understand.
Well, in terms of their design, obviously it's gonna be a seasonal operation.
Yeah.
They can be, Kevin would be more familiar, but they can be, time of operation can be determined. For Grand Benedict, it starts, triggers at close to 9 o'clock or something and it shuts down. And it's also triggered by their own activities. A button they push, that triggers it, runs a cycle, shuts down. The Grand Ben one, the design was to have a cistern
Irrigation, yeah.
to select and either funnel that water, channel it to the irrigation system, past the caviar.
I thought that was in the bathroom.
Pardon me?
They didn't go to the bathroom.
No, we don't have bathhouses in America.
No, it goes, it irrigates the
Now,
flowers.
whether,
Irrigates the flowers, okay.
the challenge with the cistern and recycling is one of chlorination and satisfying the health unit, so there's some tricks there. Just make a note to see whether could we tap into a ground source to funnel. It'd be an interesting way where it's not, but that's the nature of typically the operating cost. It's not a lot of manpower. There may be some leaf sweeping or some, but generally speaking, it's not a.
It's not a rink in the winter? It's not a rink in the
Well,
winter?
that's one of the things they want us to explore, whether we can do one. Some of them have the structures that come up out of the, and shower you. Some can be flush mounted, kind of almost a very shallow basin where they pops out of holes. It can be, in certain climates, which seem to be changing quickly, they can be utilized as a skating rink in the wintertime because it's a flat surface. Given climatic changes around here, that might require some kind of refrigeration system, which makes it more complex. But this is pretty much a basic splash pad application. It's not a manpower thing. That's the nice thing about it's not a swimming pool. It requires lifeguarding and some of the concerns there about security and fencing and so on. So that it's pretty safe. It has that appeal to people with disability. Kids with a disability can avail themselves of it, and the younger kids don't get it. They're not as vulnerable as a swimming pool facility.
September Day.
I'm just afraid that there's a weakness in our whole philosophical discussion here about we have to build it so that they are going to come. Because we spent $8.5 million in Forest to build a recreation center, and we,
8.5.
it was $8 million at least, 8.5, right? About in that area somewhere,
What was
8.5
it?
million.
Over 7, a little over 7, 7.2.
Okay, I saw a number somewhere that I was supposed to read. So anyways, no, seriously, when you start putting the roads in and everything else that's related to it, and there are expenses. So, but the point is that, that was back, what year was it, 2006? And since that point, we've had 4.4% decrease in our population in our municipality. And we just spent another $8.5 million on a legacy center here. And between the two of them, we are investing annually $800,000 for that. So we're spending a lot of money to bring people here and young families. And I'm not opposed to these projects. My only thing is that I think that they should be service club driven. And we can contribute to them. And we can give, I have no problem giving it to it for our capital cost investment if they take the lead and they maintain it. But we have a lot of projects that others, that we have taken on since. And we're now, our costs for recreation and leisure are really getting beyond what we can sustain again. So as much as I'd be supportive of these happening, I just don't think that we can take the lead on these projects. That's my bottom line feeling. It's not, the philosophy is not working, that we can build these big things and they're all gonna come. It's actually doing the opposite. The numbers are showing us the opposite. So we have to look at it realistically.
I guess, I don't disagree with you, but I guess my philosophy would be, if you build it, they will stay. And I think that's what I'm seeing is that, Mayor, I don't wanna go there about rinks, because I have a whole different view of rinks.